This going. Wow. Good morning. Good morning. Wasn't the most exciting Super Bowl of all time, but it was a memorable one in the sense that, man, dominating defense, especially in this era of, the salary cap and everybody switches teams, blah, 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 blah. It felt like a coaching masterpiece. That's what the number one takeaway from the game is. The Seahawks did not give the Patriots a single opportunity to think they could win the game. I guess for a moment when it was 19-7, 12 minutes or so left, and the Patriots got the ball back before the interception. I guess there was a slither of hope, but man, as a Ravens fan, the takeaway from the game is like that looks so familiar. It's like, where have I seen a game like that before? It's like the 2023 Ravens defense would rush four guys, and then either would get home or make things difficult, and then randomly it would feel like there was a blitz coming, but it might only just be one other guy, but he'd be untouched. Or they would send, it was just so overwhelming. Like the Patriots had no answer. Yeah, I have to go back and watch all the film and all the plays to see exactly what Seattle was doing. But I thought Collinsworth did a pretty good job of showing some replays of, man, guys are just coming from all over the place. The way Kyle Hamilton would fly around, they deployed Witherspoon, who he could have been the MVP. It was just ridiculous. The Patriots had no chance. Seattle dominated them just from the get-go, and a bunch of field goals allowed the Patriots to hang around. But yeah, Mike McDonald just deserves all the credit. Really excited for him. As far as the bets are concerned, if you were riding the Kenneth Walker train, you did pretty well. Obviously, he gets the MVP, so that paid out for me. The under got a little frisky there at the end, but I guess the thing that I'm going to pat myself the most on the back is the under for the first half, because it just felt like the game played out the way I really thought it would. Both teams, I thought the Patriots were really conservative, like absolutely really conservative, and I'm sure if they could redo the game, knowing what they know now, they probably would have taken a couple more shots earlier in the game. But they were tight, they were conservative, they hung around. That's how they wanted to play. And Seattle, Darnold wasn't great. He was good. The most impressive thing about Darnold was his ability to avoid a couple sacks and keep the chains moving early in the game. But overall, it was just a kind of a boring Super Bowl. And depending on how you bet on it, probably is the only way it dictates how you feel, because there wasn't, so many things that like jumped out at you legacy wise. I guess the obvious, Darnold, but because he didn't play great, I didn't really come away from the game. I felt like Darnold already got his flowers going into the Super Bowl. This was a cherry on top. Now he's a champion, a made man, so that's great for him. But the legacy stuff came down to McDonald and what the Seahawks defense could do in the future, because he drafted the right guys and he traded for the right guys. He signed the right, like everything he put together with the defense worked out. And it's not an elite defense just by player name, like in reputation. It just isn't. And he put a scheme together and got the most out of everybody, and they're just going to get better. There's no reason to think that the defense won't get better. And Seattle should be the favorite going into next year. It's weird to say that with Sam Darnold and the way the Seahawks played yesterday on offense, but at the same time, they didn't make any mistakes, and that's how you win. So Vrabel and the Patriots, I don't think I'm breaking any news here. They'll just be really good for as long as he's the coach. I don't really know what to make of Drake May's performance, because it happens. I guess we'll see what happens next year, if it's more of a fluke situation and, we get some film on him and he's just not that good, or he gets a lot better from it. I would probably bet on the latter. Just a couple of those throws at the end of the game, really did feel like, man, maybe the Patriots are going to make a run here. It's 19-7 and they just couldn't. I don't know why he threw that one pass. He just like the ball's in the air for an hour. I mean, Collinsworth wasn't really kind to him on the broadcast, and when they showed the replay, you could understand why, because you had no idea where he's throwing the ball. But yeah, the two passes he did throw to Hollins, which led to the touchdown, one of them, including the touchdown, I think are indicators, along with his previous body of work, that he'll be good for years to come. So What else? Anything else I'm forgetting? I don't think so. Seattle beats the Patriots. I thought, I guess the thing I got wrong, I thought it was going to be more competitive. For people that had Seattle in the blowout, I give you a ton of credit. It makes me feel I can relate because I had Seattle blowing out the Broncos 12 years ago, and that was not a common opinion. But I really thought Seattle's defense was so dominant, and they were just going to beat the shit out of the Broncos because the NFC Championship that year was Seattle, San Francisco, and it was Sherman yelling at Crabtree, and it just felt like that was the Super Bowl. And it was pretty much the same exact story of this game. Whereas the NFC Championship game felt like the Super Bowl. The Rams offense was the only offense that was able to do anything against the Seattle defense besides Baker in September or early October, whenever that game was, where Baker was just really good. But besides that, it was just Stafford and the Rams offense making plays, and no one else could do anything against this defense. And Patriots played soft schedule. Like all the narratives that you are obvious now after the game's over, you could see coming. So for people that had Seattle in the blowout, you deserve a lot of credit. I thought the game would be a 3-point game, but I didn't bet it. I did. I just wanted to go with the under. So I would, yeah. All right. So here's what I'll talk about for a few minutes before I get out of here. And, I was like thinking about this morning exactly, you know, how I was going to phrase this. And I was start writing some things down. I was like, never mind. Let me not write it down. I'll just say exactly what's on my mind because, the truth of the matter is whoever's listening, and I still appreciate whoever's listening. It's not a gazillion people, but it's designed that way because I had, as far as sports betting goes, there's a couple things that have just dramatically changed in my life. And the first one would be my lack of passion for sports betting in general. And I think I don't know if it's getting older, already had experiences, the fact that it's legal now, the scandals, I have other businesses. It's probably a combination of a gazillion things. But what it comes down to ultimately is that I don't think it's the best way to make money. When I was younger, I didn't have as many opportunities, and maybe I was a little bit more reckless. Maybe it felt cooler because you had to go to Vegas and you had to have cash. Whatever the formula was, I thought it was the best way to actually make money. So you learn some lessons, you go through some experiences, blah blah blah. And then when you start this business, it's talking third person here. When I started this business, I never really. Not only did I not think I'd be on camera, I never really thought I would be giving out picks because I just don't believe I can win consistently enough to say, hey, follow me. I can win these games. I think if I dedicated my life to one particular basketball team and maybe followed them around and thought of myself as a scout and my knowledge of basketball, yeah, sure, but that's not what I'm doing. So it's just things are too unpredictable, blah, 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 right? So when I started this business and it didn't work as far as, the person giving out their picks is not helping anybody win either. It just kind of hit me that trying to find people to promote sports betting is it just gives me the wrong feeling, right? First of all, it's hard enough to win as it is. So if you're going to pay somebody on top of it, now you really have to hit it a high percentage. So the obvious answer is you don't pay anybody. But the second obvious thing after that is how the hell are you supposed to know what's going to happen in these games? You start looking at the climate that we're living in, and there's just betting scandal after betting scandal after betting scandal. So it just makes you, it just takes the fun out of it because then when you lose your games, I don't know if you want to blame it that way or it's in the back of your mind or you're watching games and you're betting on it and you're thinking about it, but it definitely is for me. I definitely can't get it out of my mind because I consumed, like these indictments. I'll read hundreds of pages almost where I'm like, what the hell? Has to be going on more often than I could even imagine. And before it was legalized, the ironic part is it was much harder to do it, right? Because now there's so much money flowing in that you can kind of hide $1,000 here, $4,000 there. So it just has taken a lot of the fun out of it. Not to mention, the older you get and you watch these games and you realize exactly how unpredictable they are. And I talked about with J Mart the other day. I'll Tom Brady always answers the question of who's going to win the game with, well, if they played this many times, I think this could happen. And when you start, actually trying to make real money and you get older, it's just the sports betting's not for me. So to say, hey, let me just continue this business to continue it, doesn't feel, yeah, it's just not genuine. So that's why this month of this football season, I didn't bring anybody. Justin and I are friends, and J Mart and I had already developed a friendship, and we're enjoying doing the pod together every so often. But just didn't want to bring anybody, and I didn't want to promote myself with sports betting. So I kind of just carried this all out. The only thing I enjoy doing, because I'm in a pool with my friends, and I like to bet excuse me, I like to bet randomly. I don't know if I will next year, to be completely honest with you guys, but with the football, the Sunday morning, and then whether or not J Mart and I talk or Monday, it was fun. But it became, what exactly do I really want to, dive into? And I'm big on people's time, and I'm big on real journalism. So a lot of things that I'm interested in that I would be willing, to blab all, and give my opinion on, it's all secondhand opinion, right? Like, I'm not doing the actual reporting. I don't know all the details, and it's just weird for me to say, hey, come listen to me give my opinion on things that you could get someone else to listen to who just has more information. So with all that being said, what I do enjoy doing, and I've developed it with a few people, I've done it in the past, and this podcast has allowed me to meet a few other people where I'm able to give betting advice to them as more of a, I would say, like a betting coach, right? Like a betting helper, where somebody that does want to bet, or for whatever reason, whether it's significant money or they have, the thought that they can make some money doing it, and they just want somebody to bounce some ideas off of. I don't want to discourage people who, are grown and make their own money from betting on sports. I just basically don't want to encourage people who think that maybe this is a chance to make a lot of money, because I really don't believe that that's the case. I think you would have to have a plan of betting on one particular team or a certain trend or something that you've really done a lot of research on that you can prove over a period of time, just like you would any other investment. Or you have to treat it like you would a penny stock, and, depending on your life and how much money you have and what you feel like doing. So anyway, with that being said, I'm very open to, working with people, helping them manage their money or deciding what to bet on. Because if you are going to bet, there are certain things that you really shouldn't do. Like, it's less about what you should do and more like, that's like, and the first thing that jumps to mind is betting money line in college basketball or Major League Baseball or NBA, big favorites, right? When there's lots of games. So, I can carry on about that forever, but I think that's the only thing as of now that I'm actually excited to discuss sports betting wise, would be some basically betting vicariously through somebody else and feeling like I'm helping them make some decisions and then rooting for them to win. And outside of that, the only thing that really is interesting to me is just being a football fan. And, next year I'm still going to do it because, first of all, I enjoy doing it. So why not? And you never know. But I guess what I mean by doing it is giving out my picks the same way I did this year. But outside of that, I just don't think there's any betting tips or, oh my God, let me come on here and talk about the Arizona-Kansas game tonight and say what side I like. Because truthfully, when it's this available for us to bet on our phones, no matter how old we are and how much money we have, it's like the opportunity cost of spending your time betting. And I don't know how to regulate my own self. Be like, all right, let's bet on Mondays or Thursdays or on this team or that team. And so I've just decided to not do it at all. I rather enjoy the March Madness experience this year with filling out a bracket, like, someone else who doesn't know what the hell's going on, and see what happens. And yeah, I love the Orioles, but there's no way I can do a reaction to this trade or this show or excuse me, or this game or this transaction and justify like, hey, come listen to me and my opinion on it. I developed some friends through this, and that'll be fun for me to bullshit with my friends like normal people do, but I don't feel passionate to like follow the Orioles to the extent that I'd rather promote someone else to listen to. So if one day I end up working with someone else or decide to do that, then that'll be another chapter in my life. But as far as this company and what I'm doing here, yeah, I'm just going to stick to football bets for next year. And if anybody wants to reach out, I've already reached out to certain people individually, but yeah, I'm happy to help any way possible, with any questions. And if you want to stick around till next football season, that'd be great. And yeah, I hope everybody, well, I shouldn't say I hope everybody. I appreciate everybody listening as it is. And yeah, I'll pop back on here. Yeah, I don't know exactly when. I would like to think I'd come back before, football season starts. We'll do some preseason stuff. But yeah, I'll put some messages in the Telegram chat and keep some people updated on different things. And yeah, happy off season. I don't know what to do now, but it's not Maryland basketball. They did win yesterday, but I guess we still got a miracle before they're in the tournament, so it's not that. And then we got I don't have my calendar staring at me, but not that many days left until opening day. So all right, anyway, let me shut up. Thanks guys for listening. I'll see you soon, and yeah, all right, see ya.